Ready for you. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Awesome, awesome. Good evening, everybody. That was a very good session. Well done very much for that. And we move into project management now. I won't take your time too much. Thanks to the earlier speaker. So I'm just going to get into what I've got for you today. Basically, we're just going to talk about who is a project manager, what do they do, and also, but the beautiful thing about this particular course, which we will talk about as we go ahead, is you're not going to be restricted to just being a project manager only. When we get there, I'll definitely show you that. But let's talk about few things tonight first. For the next 15 minutes, I will make sure I don't take your time. Is late already. All right, so we'll talk about what is project management and what are the roles involved when we talk about project management. My name is Ayo. Like what we just said now, my name is Ayo, and I will be the one anchoring the training part of these. Who am I and what have I done in the past? So this is me. I've got a master's in project management. I've got program management. I'm a program management professional. I've got IT Project Plus certification from CompTIA. I'm a PMP. I've got Agile. I'm an Agile certified professional, risk management professional from PMI as well, schedule professional. I am a professional when it comes to business analysis. I've got Prince2 practitioner. Then I've got Scrum certified master as well. So that is for myself. I started my journey in 2007 with NNPC Nigeria. I worked with Caligay. I've worked with, I'm still working with Hybrid as a consultant at the moment as the executive director of business. I've worked in some organizations when it comes to finance, when it comes to oil and gas, when it comes to FMCG. At the moment, I am delivering a project as a project consultant for SBM Offshore on some of their vessels across the world. So that is me when it comes to my project management experience. All right, so let's talk about who is a project manager. Um, and there is something in my next slide, I'll say, you know what, everybody, we are all project managers because you've been on this particular call this evening shows that, you know what, you plan for it. They said the time is 9 o'clock for you to be here. The first 30 minutes is going to be for data analysis, and the next one is going to be for PM. You plan for it to say, you know what, whatever I'm doing, I need to be here. You got your note and all of that. So we are all project managers, and that's exactly what this is. A project manager is someone who is responsible for planning, executing, and closing projects. Okay. A project manager, they are accountable for the success and the failures of projects. So whether a project is successful or a project is failing, the person that they will definitely hold accountable and responsible for that is always a project manager. So as a project manager, you're expected to look at how to deliver the project successfully, and you must ensure that it is completed within the constraint of project. So whenever you're on a project, I'm sure some of you, you paid some amount of money to do this particular training. You're constrained, if it was more than the particular amount you're paying, if it was £1,000 or £2,000, you tell yourself, you know what, it's way my budget. I can't do that. So you could see that you'll be constrained. Say, on this particular training, all I've got is this particular amount of money. That means you've got time constraints, you've got budget constraints, you've got scope constraint whenever you are on a project. And that is a beauty, or those are the key factors you need to look out for as a project manager to say, what are my constraints when it comes to project? They are giving me time. They're saying I must deliver this project in the next 6 months, meaning you can't afford to go beyond the 6 months. If you want to go beyond the 6 months, then we're talking about something else entirely. Okay, so you have to make sure that you're working within that time. Constraint means limitation. You're limited with the time. It's 6 months already. They've given you a budget of £1 million. That means that is a constraint to you. You have to make sure that the project is delivered within that £1,000. And also you've got the scope of work. Let's assume the scope of work is saying that we need to deploy a data warehouse. We need to deploy a data warehouse for the organization. And all that. So we can see that that's the scope. If they're saying it's data warehouse, we know that, we have to do all of the collation, we have to do the cleansing, we have to do the migration, we have to do all of that. That doesn't mean that we need to now do a kind of buying laptops for the organization to be able to access the data. So you can see that means we're going beyond scope. So the scope is there. So we are constrained with our scope. A project manager also oversees a project team. So as a project manager, you will be responsible to look after the team. You have team of your developers. You have team of your PMO working with your PMOs. You have team of someone looking at the budget and all that. So you're responsible. You have team of your solution designers. You have team of a BA being on your project. You're responsible to make sure that all of these people are looked after and you're coordinating everybody together to make sure that they are delivering what is set out to be delivered. Effective project manager possesses strong leadership. So as a project manager, you need to have strong leadership qualities. You need to have communication, problem-solving skills, and what I always say, and we always say this as a project, people in project management will tell you that a project manager spends 70 to 90% of his time communicating. So that's what you're doing. And let me quickly say this because when I think it was I can't remember the name of the guy that did the data analysis now. When he was talking, he was giving you that you need to have this particular knowledge. You have to have that numeric knowledge. You have to have this. But you know what? In project management, you don't have to be technically inclined. You don't need to know SQL or anything. You don't have to be technically inclined. You just need to make sure that you've got strong leadership skills. You've got good communication skills, even though nowadays some recruiters or some organizations are trying to use one stone to kill two birds. They want someone that is technical and someone that has got project management skills as well, so that the person will be able to manage everything together. But in your own role or in reality, you don't have to be technically inclined for you to be able to handle project. Like I said, you know what, I studied chemistry in uni and I've handled projects. I've handled projects within the financial sector. I've handled projects within the oil and gas sector. I've handled projects within the FMCG. I've handled projects within the consulting. I've handled projects within the energy sector. You get, and all I read in uni was chemistry. And just to let you know, since the last time I wrote my last paper, I've never gone back to chemistry. All right. So who should be a project manager? Like I said earlier on, we are all project managers. We are all project managers. It's all dependent on how you're looking at it. Your day-to-day activity was planned. Your day-to-day activity, you executed those day-to-day activities that you're doing normally, and also you were able to close out, or you closed out some of those activities you're doing on a day-to-day basis or in your life. So we are all project managers, but having that knowledge and having that skills and having that technique on how to deliver is what we now streamline in this particular training to guide you to help you understand whenever you're in the business environment, what are the things you need to do. All right. What makes a good project manager? What makes a good project, or what makes a good project is a good project is delivered on budget. Sorry, please, can we mute that person if possible? Is on budget. A good project has got clear goals. A good project is always on time. A good project is well managed. So as a project manager, these are all your job. These are the things you need to make sure that you're managing on that particular project that has been given to you, making sure that you're delivering values and benefits for the organization. You're making sure that the project is well planned. These are the things that is making up of a good project, and you managing this is what is the success of you being a project manager. So in all of these things I've said, what exactly do we say a project is? Okay, so a project is a temporary organization that is created for the purpose of delivering one or more business products according to an agreed business case. So there is always a business case to say, you know what, I want you to deliver this particular project for me. And while you're saying I want you to deliver this particular project for me, we need to look at within the organization, someone within the organization, most times a business analyst, or sometimes a finance analyst will have been contracted, a finance business partner will have been contracted to say, can you look at this project for us? Can you try and see the viability and the feasibility of this particular project? This project that we want to do, we want to deploy SAP application to the entire organization to make sure that our inventory, our POs, our procurement processes are well laid down and also follows the normal routine. So we need to deploy SAP. So in the process of saying we need to deploy SAP, the organization needs to check it out to say, is it really feasible? Is it viable for us to deliver this, to engage in this particular project? Do we have the money? Will there be benefits when we deliver this particular project? Will there be benefits to the organization? Is it in line with the organization's goal? So in all of this is all in the business case. So this project manager, this business case, the project manager picks up this business case, and that is what the project manager is working towards to make sure that that project delivers everything that is written in that particular business case. So a project manager is there, is been given a budget, is been given a timeline, and the business case is showing the scope, or the project mandate is showing the scope of work to be done. This is given to this guy, and this guy is saying, okay, this is what I'm running with. So as a project manager, that is what those are the things that are expected of you. All right, like I said, a project must definitely bring up a change. Like the SAP project I mentioned now, it is bringing a change. It is bringing a change to the organization because we want our procurement to be what it's delivering something unique. It is temporary. It is not going to run forever because we just say, you know what, the timeline for that particular project is 6 months because it's got a start and a finish date. And at the start of the project, there are a lot of uncertainty. We're not sure whether it will be successful. We're not sure whether it will be. It will be whether we'll even spend 6 months that we said we will spend on it. So the uncertainty is always high at the start of a project, and also it is cross-functional, meaning it can cut across all of the organization. Apologies, I'm rushing this because of the time. And what are the benefits of this particular training? The benefit of this particular training, you will definitely gain a globally recognized understanding when it comes to project management, okay? And also you will know how to start a project. What are the steps and how do you close out a project? So these are the things you will learn in this particular training. You will learn common project terminologies as well. I'm sure some of you have been saying, oh, I've been saying some terminology, I've been saying deliverables, I've been saying milestones and all that. You will definitely learn all of these terminologies. And some of these terminologies are what you will put in your CV to when it goes through the AI tool for CV saving, definitely your CV will be able to, the tool will be able to pick up the CV because you understand those words and those buzzwords, and that's what you're using for your CV as we go along. You will know how to structure a project, from initiation to planning to executing to monitoring and controlling, and also to close out. So you will definitely learn all of that in this particular training. And also you will improve your career prospect. I'm sure that's one big reason why we are all here. We want to make sure that we improve our career prospect. We want to make sure that we land that job that we're talking about, and also improve your standing within your organization. For some people that are already working in an organization and you think you want to switch from what you're doing into something better, this is also an opportunity for you to do that. And lastly, clearly understand your role as a project manager if you're getting on the job. All right. So as we go along, and also when you research things, there are a few things you will be hearing. You'll be hearing project, some might be hearing project manager, some would hear something like program manager, some will be hearing portfolio manager. You know what? Because you're just coming into this, we'll take a step at a time, okay? And I love one of the questions that someone asked was, you know what, big data, we're talking about data analysis, when do we get into big data and all of that? It is something similar when we talk about project management as well. So there is something we call project management, which is just managing a tiny bit of work. Then there's something that's called a program, managing several projects. And there's something that's called portfolio, managing numerous programs and projects within an organization. So you can see it's the advanced level, but it's growing. But I just say, you know what, it would be better for me to just explain that to us tonight as well, because when you go out and you start researching, you start seeing portfolio manager, program manager, project manager. What exactly is it? Project manager is the delivering of that piece of work. Program is the delivering of related project, while portfolio is the delivering of programs and projects together. Okay. All right. Let's talk about what are the certifications. So let me quickly put another caveat in here. This particular training is not getting you ready for any certification. This is an hands-on training. But I always advise my students or the courts within the stuff to say, you know, for you to be competitive or for your CV to be competitive outside there, I always appreciate if along the line you're able to study and get one of these certificates that I'm listing up here, because this would definitely help your chance in securing a job. Okay, it's all good. Yeah, in the UK, it's all good for you to have that hands-on experience. But the moment they see Prince 2 in the UK, the moment they see Prince 2 Foundation certification on your CV, it puts you ahead. They know that, you know what, this particular person understands project terminologies, because that's what Prince 2 Foundation is all about. It's all about understanding Prince 2, project management terminologies and all that. So for the project management certification, there is something called the CAPM or the PMP. They use it more in the US and also in Nigeria. While Prince 2 Foundation and Practitioner, they use it more in the UK and Europe as well as Australia. For people in Canada as well, if you're on the call, they use PMP more in Canada and CAPM. For BACS Project Management Foundation, it's just a foundational knowledge of project management by BACS. And also there is another one they use a lot in the UK as well. For some insurance companies and some banks, they use what we call the APMP as well. So these are the certifications that is recommended along the line for you to have on your CV. All right. In this particular training, what are the topics we will cover? We'll cover what exactly is a project. I know I just quickly mentioned that to us, but we'll definitely go into in-depth knowledge of it. We'll talk about constraint of a project. I know I mentioned budget and all that, but we'll go more into that. We'll drop more into that. Successful and failed project, giving you examples, understanding what makes a project to be successful, understanding what flipping it on the other side, things that can make your project to fail. What exactly is project management? What are those application of tools and techniques we need to have? We'll talk about, you know, what the project management life cycle. How do you start from starting up a project to managing stage boundaries, to closing out a project, to controlling a project, to directing a project. We will definitely talk about all of that and take you through a practical guide in you delivering that. Also, one of the key things that a project manager is expected to do is what is called stakeholders management. And in all of the white collar job or corporate jobs, even if you're a data analyst, you are a business analyst, you're into cybersecurity, stakeholders management is so key. And a project manager is expected to be able to manage stakeholders very, very well. And we'll get into this. What are the techniques you need to have? How do you make use of your stakeholders log? How do you do stakeholders identification workshops and all that? Those are the things we will be talking about. And also process mapping. We'll be talking about process mapping, because as a project manager or as a PMO person or as a project consultant, you are expected to come into an organization. If you're working as a PMO, as a project manager, you might not really do a lot of that. But if you're working as a project management office analyst or support administrator, they will definitely expect to come into an organization and develop their process for them. Maybe they're bringing you into an organization, you know, we don't have any project management process. Can you please develop all of our processes we will need for us? We will definitely be talking about all of the processes you need to get into an organization to develop for the organization. And this is when we'll be using our Microsoft Visio to look into that. Still talking about topics we need to do. Yes, I'm sure a lot of people that might have an understanding of risk issues and all that, you must have heard about RAID management before. Yeah, I call it cardiac because I believe that it's more than rate. I call it cardiac because there are more things to be added to that. So on this, we'll be talking about constraint management, assumption management, risk management, dependency management, decision management, issues management, actions management, and also change control. We'll be talking about change control as well. All right. Yes, we're talking about change control process. We're talking about project reporting. How do you do your project reporting? Do you do your project reporting using MS Project? I mean, your Microsoft PowerPoint? Do you use Excel? How do you do the governance when it comes to governance as well? How do you report upward? The kind of report you do within the project team is different from the kind of project reporting you would do with the key stakeholders or to the senior stakeholders. All of these are what we will be talking about on the project as well. We will talk about project resource management. How do you resource your plan? How do you do your resource utilization? How, as a project manager or a PMO person, what are the things you should be looking out for? We're talking about lessons learned management, how to document that while the project is ongoing. At the end of a project, a project manager or a PMO consultant or a PMO person is expected to be able to document all of these along the project. So we will definitely be doing that. Planning and scheduling. I know that some of us are interested in project planning. The beauty of this particular training is I always take everything together because I believe that it's not just about learning the tools. And like you see, you saw my profile. I've worked as a planning lead. I worked as a planning lead for 4 years, and all of those 16 years that I've been working. So I understand the detail when it comes to planning a project from start to finish as well. What are the tools that is needed and all that. So it's not all about knowing the tool, but when you have a deeper understanding of project management, you will definitely be able to be successful in that particular area. Then we'll talk about document controlling using your SharePoint, version controlling and all that. We will definitely be talking about that. What are the tools you will be learning on this particular training? You will be learning, definitely we'll be using MS Word. We'll be using PowerPoint to do our presentations and also reporting. We'll be using Excel to document our logs. So you will definitely be learning all of that. SharePoint, yes, I will take you through my company, the company I'm working on at the moment. So I'll just take you through that. Also, we'll be learning in-depth knowledge when it comes to MS Project. At least we will spend an appreciable amount, 3 to 4 hours, using MS Project as a tool on how to plan, how to resource, how to key your activities in, how to do your dependencies and all that. And also we'll be using MS Visio. We'll be running processes, we'll be drawing processes, swim lane, how to develop your swim lane, how to develop your flow charting, how to use those Visio to actually develop an end-to-end process within a project. Outlook, take you through Outlook, making sure that you know what tasks are linked to your Outlook. We'll be using Microsoft Teams. Deji said that we'll be using Microsoft Teams. And for some of you also, I will be able to get you on Jira or Confluence. I'm working on that to get you on Jira or Confluence to see how we document things or how we use Confluence as well for document controlling. All right, my last slide here. What are the salary range? The average salary range for a project manager in the UK is 47,900. Let's just say 48,000. And you can see in London is 53, Southampton is 50, Bristol, Liverpool, and all that ranges between 45 to 47. And that brings me to the end of our introduction. Questions?
Thank you so much. I'll stop this recording before we start the questions.